Hi everybody, I'm Jared Pike. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, October 10th. On today's show, Mary Franklin tells us about next month's Festival of Heroes. We'll also travel to the Arctic with Keeley of Periwinkle, who got very close to polar bears and has the video footage to prove it. But first, a few heads up about creative groups meeting today. The Photo Club is resuming its meetings for the season, welcoming everyone who loves to take pictures. Bring a photo with you that portrays what I did this summer. Also, come with your ideas about field trips and other fun events to be planned throughout the year. The Photo Club meets at 2:15 p.m. in the Manatee Room on the island. Also starting this afternoon are rehearsals for the Christmas Cantata, the brainchild of Ted and Ruth Rogers of Paul Makers. This original musical presentation takes place every year on Christmas Day in the Resident Activity Center. They need singers, musicians, and anyone else interested in spreading Christmas cheer that day. Come find out all about it at 2:30 p.m. in the backstage area of the Village Church. You can also call Ted and Ruth at 466-5353. Today is also the perfect opportunity to learn more about LifeQuest, our wellness initiative that encourages residents to focus on 6 different dimensions in their life: physical, emotional, spiritual, educational, community and social, and natural environment. And now we're offering an event where the entire LifeQuest staff team will be in one place, ready for your questions. It's the LifeQuest panel discussion happening today at 1:15 p.m. in the Social Center on the island. All are welcome. LifeQuest is a collaborative effort between staff and residents, as is our next subject. It's the Festival of Heroes, which you can read about on page 20 of your Shell Point Life magazine. This signature event for November brings together heroes from our day-to-day lives, our local community, and indeed the whole world. There are many events to prepare for, and here to tell us all about them is Mary Franklin.
Every November, Shell Point welcomes the new season with a signature event, a collection of exciting events with a grand theme. In the past years, we've had the Shell Point Olympics, Hometown USA, Art Fest, and even a back-to-school homecoming theme. But this year, we're doing something a little different. It's the Festival of Heroes. We're honoring the heroes in our lives, from national heroes like military veterans to local heroes like our first responders, and more importantly, your own personal heroes among your family, friends, and neighbors. It all starts, appropriately enough, on Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th. We will gather for a hometown parade around the island featuring the Cypress Lake Marching Band, an Honor Guard, Boy Scouts of America, the Lee County Sheriff's Department, and you. We'll end up at the park under the Cuban laurels for a celebratory picnic with entertainment and fun. Family and friends are all welcome to the picnic, but you do need to pick up tickets beforehand at the service desk so we know how many to prepare for. And the best way to get to the picnic and parade that day is by bus because parking will be limited. That night, the Crystal Room is also honoring our veterans with an all-American menu and musical entertainment. On Tuesday, November 12th, veterans are all invited to the Grand Cypress Room for a Get to Know Your Neighbor event on a grand scale. Bring out your war stories, your paraphernalia, uniforms, photos, and more, and get to know your fellow veterans. On Wednesday, November 13th, we get the rare treat of hearing from Joseph Jolmias, a hero in 2 countries. Joseph has done heroic work here in our housekeeping department for more than 20 years. But he is also a hero in his native Haiti, where he has traveled numerous times to help build schools and offer relief after the recent earthquake. The Academy is proud to host Joseph, a Shell Point hero for Haiti. That Wednesday night, the Village Church will hold a special candlelight celebration of remembrance and honor. Music, prayers, and inspiration will be offered to honor the heroes in our lives. The church is also participating in Operation Christmas Child, which sends special shoeboxes to needy children around the world. You can drop off your own shoebox donation anytime during the Festival of Heroes Week and be a hero to one of these wonderful children. On Thursday, November 14th, you get the chance to travel to Fort Myers and tour Lee County's brand new $17 million Emergency Operations Center. See how police, fire, and medics all coordinate with emergency management in this state-of-the-art facility. And Thursday night, you won't want to miss the first Fine and Performing Arts concert of the season. Daniel Rodriguez was a New York City policeman on 9/11 and made a name for himself by singing at public events while wearing his uniform. Now this tenor has fully devoted himself to music and still brings the same level of inspiration and hope. Get your tickets now for Daniel Rodriguez, performing Thursday, November 14th at 7:30 p.m. in the church auditorium. Finally, on Friday, November 15th, we're having a special event in the Woodlands Commons, inviting everyone to become a volunteer hero. All the Shell Point volunteer groups will have displays set up, and you'll have the chance to explore all the different opportunities and avenues where Shell Point residents volunteer their time. That's a full lineup of events, and we're excited to deliver them to you. But there's one more unique aspect to this week. We're inviting all of you to submit photos of your own personal hero. It could be a family member or a celebrity, or even one of your friends here at Shell Point. Bring a copy of their picture to the Island or Woodlands service desk, along with 2 or 3 sentences about why they are your hero. Just be sure to do it by November 1st, and then we'll display the entries all week on the Wall of Heroes in the Resident Activity Center. So, there you have it, the Festival of Heroes. It's going to be an inspiring week from November 11th to November 15th, and we hope it will also be an inspiring beginning to another great season here at Shell Point.
Speaking of heroic, what if I told you that one of our Shell Point residents traveled up to the Arctic and came face to face with giant polar bears? Actually, they were in a giant buggy, in no real danger, but still, you gotta admit, it's pretty adventurous to be out there in the tundra all day. Keeley has traveled all over the world, from Europe to Asia to Africa and Latin America, and wherever she's gone, she's taken her video camera. In 1996, she and her husband traveled to the remote Canadian town of Churchill, Manitoba. October is when the polar bears come out of hibernation and prepare to go out to sea. So Keeley took advantage to film the mighty polar bear.
I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York, the snow capital of the world, almost. The first one was in 1961. A couple of us went over to Jamaica and Haiti. So that's where the bug bit me, the travel bug. I did slides, and then I put the slides, I now have them on flash drive. The video, the first one I did was in 1990. That one in 90 was on your shoulder, you know. Of course, I was younger and could do that. And then I'd come home and edit it and get my microphone out and get the tape playing so I had a little background music.
Churchill, Manitoba is situated on the shore of Hudson Bay and is known as the polar bear capital of the world.
Most tour brochures do not mention Churchill, Manitoba and the polar bears. There's no roads up to Churchill. You have to get in by train or flying. 4 months out of the year, the Hudson Bay is navigable. And they bring the grain in there. There's a huge granary. So the grain industry is one. And I'm sure probably restaurants for tourists. Our Tundra Inn, our motel, the back of the hotel abutted the back of the CMA church. So there's a CMA church up there in the middle of the polar bears. Here we are entering our Tundra buggy. People from all over, photographers mostly. Yeah, it starts in the morning. We're there at dawn. In fact, we go out to the Tundra buggy is about 20 miles east of Churchill. And we go out in a school bus, and it is fairly early in the morning. Then we stay out all day and eat on the Tundra buggy. And this one makes me smile. There are guys in the back, which to me would be unsafe, but now we go out at dawn. It's still fairly dark now, and we go out and we stay all day. And the bears seem to get used to the buggies being there, and they'd come right up to it. Here's a mother. When they have cubs, they usually have 2. At birth, they're about 10 inches long, and they weigh less than 1 pound. And to think they become these large animals. And she notices something happening, namely a male coming closer. And there she is chasing him away with one of the cubs helping. And now we have the other cub coming up. But at this time they don't want the males around. Polar bears are usually loners unless they are a mother with cubs. They are in what you call walking hibernation. They haven't eaten since July, and they go through town October through half of November, and they haven't eaten since July. And you'll notice they sleep during the day, most of the day. You know, when you see a little puppy dog with a stick, they're jumping around and flipping it back and forth. Now, with this hibernation, this walking hibernation, you'll see how docile he is. I mean, he likes the stick, but he's not playful with it. This little guy I kind of like. He got a little dirty from the peat, and he just kind of wants a stretch, and then he'll fall back asleep. There he goes. Here we see a red fox. He's hiding in the rocks as well as some of the polar bears. And this one is called a cross fox. He has a brown stripe down his back and across his shoulders, so that when you have the pelt out, it forms a cross. Now this is a ptarmigan. It's a type of grouse. During the winter, it's white. In the summer, it's chestnut brown, and it has white wings and a white belly. He's eating willow buds. Here's our Tundra buggy. Would you believe we had a flat tire? Yes. And the next day we had another flat tire. So if a bear comes into town, they don't want them there, of course. So they have these bear traps, and they bait them with seal meat. And then they are taken out to this polar bear compound, also called the polar bear jail. The bear has a very keen sense of smell. They can smell something, believe it or not, 20 miles away. They can even find a seal under 3 feet of ice and snow. Here we have two younger bears sparring. What they do, first of all, they kind of mouth for position. Then in a little while, their play will get a little rougher, and they'll start to wrestle. This is the most active I've seen them. There they are, they're wrestling. And the wrestling stops when one of the bears walks away. It's kind of a fun thing. It's nothing serious. They aren't fighting over a female or anything. They're just having fun, playing. There's a mother and two cubs that came right up to a tundra buggy. Now here's one that's investigating the tundra buggy. Now he's sniffing around probably smells some of our food we had inside. What I think is funny is when the bear comes close, you see the head coming down fast into the buggy, and it looks like the bear is trying to tip that car over. I thought that was kind of fun, as long as it wasn't our car. They can eat up to 50 pounds of meat in one sitting. It's amazing. Their main food are seals, and that's what brings them to the water. They're waiting for the ice to freeze sufficiently to go out, and when it does, these bears almost overnight just you won't see them anymore. The seals, they aren't ready yet to go out to hunt the seals, so they eat vegetation. This is beach rye. Now this one, he saw a lemming. A lemming's a little rodent, and he pounced into the bush after him and couldn't find him, so he looks a little perplexed. Here's our helicopter ride. We're flying over the tundra. Give you a little idea how barren it is. Hudson Bay is about twice the size of Texas, so it's a huge bay. It's at low tide. You can see the bay over at the right. That is where people go who want to live with the polar bears. It's like a motel, and they eat and sleep there for a couple days, and here's a bear that went right up to the people, and this one's drinking from the sink drain, getting a little taste. But you'll notice they all are rather inert at this time. And this one, it shows the paw. This was right outside the front window of our bus. The paw is about 12 inches in diameter. It's very large. It's good for paddling after seals. It's good for walking on the tundra. On here you'll notice the bottom of the feet are mostly fur. You'll see a little black patch. The fur is for insulation, and the black pad is bumped so that they don't skid on the ice and snow. A male weighs over 1,000 pounds. Now the female is about 500 pounds, quite a bit less than the male. Yeah, he's looking up at us, in the tundra buggy. We put the window down. There was no feeling of threat at all there. It was a fun trip. I'd probably say that about all my trips.
Do you have adventurous footage from some of your travels? Well, let us know about it. Contact me by phone or by email, and let's share your story on ShellPoint TV. Now, there are several big events happening tomorrow you need to know about. First, the Great Decisions Group and the Inquiring Minds Group are joining forces this week to discuss assessing threats to the United States. Now, have you got an opinion on current events? We know you do. Here's your chance to share them. Come to the combined Great Decisions and Inquiring Minds Group, meeting tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center on the island. And also tomorrow, Dr. David Eichten, with Joint Implant Surgeons of Florida, will discuss how partial knee replacement might be just the procedure you need to get moving again. His presentation is tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. in the Woodlands Oak Room. A lot of stuff to plan for, we know. We're doing the best we can to keep you informed, including about today's happenings from Resort Services. So stay tuned for that, as well as your Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hi everybody, it's October 10th and welcome to the Happening segment of ShellPoint TV. I'm Bev Chandley and this is Leslie Brand, and we're going to go over today's activities with you. We're going to start out at 7:15 with Bend, Breathe, and Balance. It's in the Health Club. It's $5 per class and no sign-up is required. At 8 o'clock we have the Men's Golf Association gathering at the ShellPoint Golf Club. Also at 8 o'clock we have the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. 8:30 is the time the paddlers will be meeting at the kayak storage facility for their weekly paddling trip. At 9:15, it's time for shuffleboard down at the shuffleboard court. I hear they need some more players, so if you're tempted, head on down there. I'm sure they'll be happy to see you. At 9:30, we have current events in the game room of the Woodlands. Also at 9:30, we have the ladies match play tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. And our last 9:30 activity is a game of samba that'll be played at the Sable Room at the Woodlands, and new players are welcome. At 9:45, we have an introduction to beginning line dancing in the Health Club. And at 10 o'clock, we have the Susie Q leaving for Woody's on Pine Island. Sign-up is required for that. We have another line dancing. This is basic line dancing at 10:15, also in the Health Club. Call 482-5965 if you're interested in that. At 10:15, we have the poetry group meeting. At 11:15, we have advanced line dancing in the Health Club, and call 433-1818 for more information. Now here's Leslie for your afternoon lineup.
Thank you, Bev. At 1:15, we have Mahjong in the Library Lounge. At 1:15 also, we have My Quest panel in the Social Room. At 2:15 is the Photo Club in the Manatee Room. At 2:30 is Christmas Cantata Rehearsal by the Church Choir Room. Also at 2:30 is Be Resourceful about home care options in the Grand Cypress Room in the Woodlands. At 2:45 is the Balance and Mobility Level 2 in the Health Club. At 4 o'clock is the seamstress here for her weekly service in the Osprey Room. At 4:30 is the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room in the Woodlands. At 7 is the Pinnacle in the Library Lounge on the island. And also at 7 is the Trailblazers Bible Study in the Game Room in the Woodlands. Thank you very much, and we hope you have a great day today.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday, October 10th. At 9:15, the Power of Right Clicking with Windows 7 continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. At 9:45, Matisse and Picasso will take place in the Social Center of the island, and sign-up is required. At 1 o'clock, our Mahjong Basics course continues on the second floor country kitchen at the Arbor in the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, story writing continues in the Buttonwood Room of the Woodlands. And at 1 o'clock, we offer iPad apps in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. Sign-up is required. Tomorrow, we have smartphones, Apple iPhones, with Bruce Findlay of Sundial.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is herbed baked chicken with roasted potatoes and asparagus. For dinner, the special is the Crystal Carving Board for $11.95, and the soup of the day is garden vegetable. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Thursday, enjoy a roast beef club with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Thursday are grilled ribeye for $18.95 or halibut for $14.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with John Stumbo. John is the newly elected president of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. So welcome, John.
Good to see you today, Andy.
You know, John, obviously you've had a lot of experience in ministry in a lot of different churches of a lot of different sizes. This is a rather unique community, however, and of course the Village Church reflects that kind of community. It's a retirement community. What kinds of things does a community like this, what are we able to contribute to the kingdom of God and to the things that matter to God?
Andy, I appreciate that at every season of life there's different opportunities for us. That can be exciting, that can be difficult to transition from one season to the next. But I would pray to God and appeal to the people that they not view this season as a season of inactivity or feeling like they have lost all influence, because that would not be accurate. The spiritual influence of prayer warriors is beyond estimation, the significance of that. May God strengthen the prayer warriors who are here. The influence that can be had as these leaders that are and saints that have now no longer have key positions perhaps, but the influence that they can still have into lives like mine. There are many of us in my generation and younger that don't want to just do this on our own, but we want to have listening ears and acknowledge that we're standing on the shoulders of those who have huge experience who've gone before us. I was sitting looking at the meeting yesterday here at Shell Point, and where I was in the conference room, there was a picture of the entire campus from an aerial photo, or at least the island portion of the campus. I kept looking at that picture from time to time, and this thought kept coming to my mind. Visionaries believed God, and because of their vision, this ministry exists. Without visionary leadership, this would have never taken place. Well, I want to be one of those visionary leaders for what God has for us in the future, but I'm fully acknowledging that I'm, again, standing on the shoulders who've gone before and want to continue to be influenced by them. The idea of influence doesn't need to stop just because positions perhaps have changed.
That's a great observation, and I think one of the things that I would add to that is that folks in this retirement community, because they're retired, also have time. That's a resource perhaps that they didn't have back in the day when their lives were occupied with many other obligations. And so there are opportunities for people to engage in ministry activities that perhaps a lot of residents can find that they have a freedom to do and engage in some things that they perhaps never had a chance to do.
Amen. And to put together my thought and your thought into one sentence, I would say, while some are no longer leading the church, they're not called to lead the church at this moment, they're still called to be the church.
Absolutely.
And perhaps being the church more than they were ever able to be in the past by living in community, by giving of their time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure to spend some time here with John Stumbo, our recently elected president of the Christian and Missionary Alliance, and we hope you'll join us soon at the Village Church or through Shell Point Television participating in our worship services. Hope to see you soon.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as we learn why it's important to show our support for Alzheimer's research at this month's Alzheimer's Walk in Fort Myers. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, October 10th. I'm Jared Pike, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.